Hi, welcome to my tutorial channel. Ensure you subscribe to my channel for more updates. Today we want to examine Edu 201, Philosophy of Education. That is the course we are examining today. What is philosophy? By talking about philosophy, philosophy means different things to different people. Part of the problem of philosophy is problem of definition. What philosophy means to Mr. A is different to what it means to Mr. B. But generally speaking, the philosophy is derived from the word philos and sophia, which give us the love of wisdom. Philosophy is talking about when you are making a critical and a conscious effort to understand the nature of the universe. Philosophy, when we talk about philosophy, generally we say put together love of wisdom. We move to the concept of education. We have defined philosophy, so we are talking about education now. Education is a process of socialization. Education is a process of impacting knowledge. Education is when you are transferring knowledge from one person to another. Education has to do with a process of helping other people to learn. And we have types of education. Number one, informal education, non-formal education, and formal education. The informal education is the education you acquire outside the school premises, in your place of worship, in environments, along the street. The knowledge you got outside the school premises, it is called informal. What is non-formal education? The non-formal is talking about education acquired by those people who are not privileged to go to school at the right time, like the adult education, like the full housewife who went to school at a later hour due to one reason or the other. It is called a non-formal. Then what is formal education? The formal education is the one you acquire in the college, in the school. That is formal. Now, philosophy, what is philosophy of education? This can be defined as the philosophical study of education and its problem. According to Eno and Reid, they define philosophy of education as the philosophical method or tools to the field of education. Let's quickly talk about the scope of philosophy. What philosophy is trying to capture or cover. Number one, history of ideas in education, study of established system of philosophy, analysis of educational concepts and issues, portion of other subjects. These are the scope of what is trying to capture. Now, the branches of philosophy. There are 4 branches of philosophy. When we talk about number one, metaphysics. Metaphysics is the science of reality. Metaphysics was originated by Andronicus, one of the Aristotle's students. He coined it from 2 words, meta, meaning after, and physics, which means nature. Metaphysics is talking about beyond the physical, the theory of reality as a whole. That is what metaphysics is talking about. And we talk about epistemology. Epistemology can be defined as the science of knowledge. Epistemology is derived from Greek word epistem, meaning knowledge, and logos, meaning study. Epistemology means the study of knowledge. The study of knowledge. The theory of knowledge. The science of knowledge. That is what epistemology is talking about. Epistemology deals with knowledge, how individuals acquire knowledge. And when we talk about knowledge, there are different types of knowledge. Look at the types of knowledge. Empirical knowledge, that is knowledge by experience. Rational knowledge, knowledge based on reason. Review knowledge, knowledge by revelation, by those men of God, clergy. Intuition knowledge, knowledge by insight, your way of knowing things. Authoritative knowledge, knowledge based on authority. As an expert, you can speak according to your experience. Axiology. Axiology comes from the Greek word axios, which means value. Axiology is the study of value. Axiology deals with value. And value, axiology is divided into 2. Ethics and aesthetic. You can see we have 2 branches of axiology. Ethics and aesthetic. What is ethics? Ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos. Ethos means morality. Ethics is the science of morality. How individual tends to behave, those things that are right and that are wrong in the society. We have aesthetic. Aesthetic is also called philosophy of taste. It deals with issues such as beauty and ugliness, pleasantness and unpleasantness, etc. Lastly, we talk about logic. What is logic? Logic, simply put, logic is all about reasoning. Logic helps you to differentiate arguments that are true and false, arguments that are valid and invalid, arguments that are inductive or deductive. Logic is all about reasoning. There are two types of logic that we shall be discussing today: inductive logic and deductive logic. When do we know if a logic is inductive and deductive? And inductive logic is talking about reasoning from particular to general. When you reason from particular perspective, particular premises to a general conclusion, it is called inductive. From particular to general, from particular premises to a general conclusion, that is called inductive. While deductive is talking about from general premises to a particular conclusion. That is just the two type of. Now let's move to the school of thought. There are different schools of thought in education of philosophy, philosophical school of thought. But for the purpose of this shooting and examination, we shall be examining idealism, realism, naturalism, pragmatism. What is idealism? Idealism is the oldest school of thought with the aim of exposing its educational principle and implication. Idealism is originated from Socrates and Plato. This means that what is ultimately real are not the physical observable material objects of this world. Rather, what is real are the ideas of these entities in our mind, which are timeless, ageless, eternal, and spiritual. When we talk of idealism, from the word idea, idealism believes on your idea rather than your matter, rather than what you can see, touch, or feel. What are the features of this idealism? By the time you look at the feature of idealism, you will get the more knowledge of what idealism is trying to talk about. Man being spiritual is a supreme creation. Spirit and mind constitute reality. God is the source of all wisdom. Outside the mind, reality has no existence. So idealism believes on the idea, on what your brain can think of, what your brain can thought of, what your mind can conclude about. Idea from experience. Idealism is not believing on what you can see, what you can touch. Idealism believes so much on spiritual more than the material. Realism from the word real. Realism here is the opposite of idealism. Realism believes so much on supremacy of material than spiritual. Realism was originated from Aristotle. It is said that Aristotle is the father of realism. Realism derived its name from the word real. What is real? Realism believes in seen is belief. Only what you can see is what exists. It believes on matter. What is matter? What you can see, touch, feel, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Features of realism. You can see that. Let's move to the next one. Naturalism. Naturalism is a school of thought derived its nature from the word nature. This one believes neither on material nor on matter. It believes on the law of nature. Naturalism is a school of thought derives its nature from the word nature. Naturalism regards nature as the all in all of reality. These are the features of naturality. Please ensure you subscribe to my channel for more videos and more updates. Go and pass. Thank you.